The Hunger Games is one of the most popular dystopian series out there. It ended with Mockingjay on August 24, 2010, but it still continues to stay relevant even after a decade from its release, mainly because of the movies and the prequel books. By May 19, 2020, Suzanne Collins published a prequel novel called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and this explored the story of the president of Panem, or Coriolanus Snow. Just this year, Suzanne released another prequel book, and it was The Sunrise on the Reaping. This focused on Haymitch Abernathy, Katniss and Peeta's mentor, and how he survived his Hunger Games. From these two prequel novels, fans have been wondering if Suzanne would make other novels for other characters, and in this video, I decided to gather 5 character prequel ideas. These characters would be people that I believe deserve a bit more of the spotlight, since we weren't able to get that much of them in the books or the movies. So, last thing before getting into it, spoiler warning, and with that, let's get started. Number 5. Effie Trinket. Effie was the escort for the District 12 tributes in the 74th and 75th Hunger Games. She was described as this enthusiastic capital citizen who tried her best to make Peeta and Katniss presentable in the games. In the books, she doesn't really play that big of a role compared to the movies, but the movies did try to give her more depth, and added to the amazing performance from Elizabeth Banks, or Effie's actress, fans like me ended up loving Effie. One thing to note about Effie though is that we don't really know that much about her past. We kind of get a hint on it in The Sunrise on the Reaping when we're introduced to Effie's sister, Proserpina Trinket, and we learn about their relationship with one another. Interestingly, this book implies that the Trinket family had a bad reputation in the capital because of something Effie's great aunt did. It's not specified what actually happened, but Effie even mentions how it's hard being a Trinket, so I think a prequel novel would really benefit Effie. It'll add even more depth to her character while understanding what bad reputation her family held in the capital. Added to the fact that we barely see her in the Mockingjay book, a prequel novel on Effie would really help us connect with her as readers. Number 4. Finnick Odair. We first meet Finnick as the District 4 victor in Catching Fire, and he started out as arrogant and mischievous. However, he does slowly grow in Katniss throughout the book, and fans like me ended up getting so attached to him. To be honest, he's my most favorite character, so you can only imagine just how devastated I was when I read his death in Mockingjay. It was brutal, especially since Finnick was forced to leave his wife and son, and he didn't even know he had a son in the first place. With this tragic ending brought to his character, I want to get a novel that explores Finnick. I want to see his Hunger Games and how he survived as the youngest victor in the books. He was just 14 when he was reaped, and somehow he managed to win. I'd love to see his games, along with how he formed a romantic relationship with Annie Cresta. If Suzanne ever chooses to write this, I just know it's gonna be an emotional roller coaster, but I'll love it all the same. Number 3. Johanna Mason. Like Finnick, we meet Johanna in Catching Fire, and she was the District 7 victor. Johanna is one of the most popular and loved characters in the Hunger Games fandom because of her personality and tragic fate. Compared to the other characters, she has a pretty obscure past, and we don't know much about her Hunger Games. I bet it would be interesting to see how Johanna grew up in District 7, how she survived her Hunger Games, and what happened to her after Mockingjay. Speaking of the latter part, we don't actually know what really happened to her. She was last seen at Snow's assassination, and she witnessed Katniss shoot Coin instead, but that's really it. She may have gone back to District 7, but getting more closure on Johanna's character would be really interesting to read about. Number 2. Plutarch Heavensbee. I've already mentioned just how interested I am in Plutarch's character ever since my Katniss and Haymitch video, and I'm saying it again. Plutarch is a really intriguing character because he's not a good or bad person. He's morally gray in his actions, and compared to Johanna earlier, we don't have much of his past at all. Like, all we know is that he's related to hilarious Heavensbee from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and how rich the Heavensbees were. What intrigues me even more about Plutarch is that he doesn't have any other living family members by the Sunrise on the Reaping. Like, there's no mention of a father, mother, siblings, or anybody really. The Hunger Games wiki actually mentions an unnamed cousin, but still. There's no mention of anything else about Plutarch's personal life, and I bet it would be interesting to see how he ended up joining the rebellion while manipulating Snow, Coin, and even Katniss and Haymitch. Plutarch is such an interesting character, and I believe he deserves his own book. And last but not the least is number 1, Alma Coin. Coin was the head of District 13, and she was part of the rebellion against the capital in Mockingjay. Coin was successful in the rebellion, and she declared herself as president of all of Panem, which was exactly what she wanted. She even suggested a Hunger Games for the capital citizens instead of the districts, and this moment truly showed just how similar she actually was to Snow. Coin was just as brutal and heartless, which led Katniss to kill her instead. Coin is one of the most intriguing characters in fiction. I place her as number 1 because from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, it's pretty clear that Suzanne Collins can write a villain so well, and I would love to see Coin in the same way through a novel of her own. And those are all the characters I'd love to see in their own prequels. So, how about you? What other prequel ideas do you have? Let me know in the comments down below.